I'm not here to teach you what to think. I'm here to teach you how to think. Welcome to Frank's Making Monogamy Work. This program will look at the case for monogamy. It'll look at the positives and the consequences and the mistakes that monogamous people make that threaten their own monogamy. Also covered are intellectual constructs surrounding attraction, commitment to a person versus commitment to the monogamy, being monogamous out of choice or desperation, how to practice monogamy ethically, monogamy and commitment, monogamy and love, monogamy and sex, and why monogamy must be earned. Monogamy works for monogamous people, and if structured properly, could work for even more people. However, the power of choice and the self-entitlement of our current societal structure is killing the chances that monogamous people have of making their relationship structures work for them. I want to present this from the perspective of a guy that only tried monogamy for a period in his life. When I couldn't make relationships work, I considered that monogamy was at fault, and not the fact that I didn't know how to run a relationship. I've been in open relationships. I have experimented with all types of relationship structures and rules. I have also been the other man, meaning that I was dating a woman who was in a supposedly monogamous relationship with another man, and he didn't know. And I'm also going to be giving you some red flags, some things to look out for, so that you, who is listening to this program, will not have your monogamy threatened by the type of guy that I used to be. Monogamy and polyamory. Monogamy is actually easier than open relationships in the sense that the rules are simpler. However, applying the rules of monogamy is harder than managing an open relationship. Here's what I mean. The first two rules of monogamy are pretty simple and self-evident. Rule number 1, you only have sex with one person. That's pretty straightforward. That's pretty much the definition of what most people define monogamy as. You only have sex with one person. Rule number 2 of monogamy. You never do anything that would even potentially threaten rule number 1. This is where monogamy gets tricky. It's in trying to figure out what act could not necessarily threaten your monogamy, but potentially threaten. And this is where couples who are being monogamous find that they have the biggest challenges. In polyamorous relationships, open relationships, because there is no commitment that you're only going to have sex with one person, it becomes a negotiation. Whatever you can negotiate. Do you have full penetration sex with the other person? Are you only allowed to kiss the other person? Are you only able to touch the other person? Do you only go as far as oral sex? Do you have to meet the other person before your partner can involve themselves with that person? Open relationships are more difficult because there's a certain amount of work in trying to organize them and manage them all the way through. People tend to think that monogamy is easy, and it's not. Monogamy takes work. Although the rules are simpler to understand, and there's only 2 real main rules, they're much harder to apply because it's about what you're not supposed to do. And how do you maintain that? How do you manage that? That's where the challenge of monogamy lies. Having been in monogamous relationships and having been in open relationships, I'm going to give you the benefit of my experience. When I'm dating only one person, the challenge is to keep things interesting. The challenge is not to get boring and not to be bored by the other person. If you're in a monogamous relationship, a lot of the tension that comes up is protecting that relationship from any potential threat to the monogamy. When I'm dating 2 women at the same time, it's still difficult because at this point, even though we're in an open relationship and everything is done openly and honestly and ethically, often find that dating two women at the same time means they end up competing with one another. Their focus is not on you, their focus is on each other, and just trying to be better than the other person towards you. When I was dating three women at the same time, I actually found this to be a little easier than monogamy. Because when I'm dating three women at the same time, at that point, they're not really competing with one another.